Hey, welcome to the Couples Corner. We are Team Bevans, and we are excited that you guys have joined us in the Couples Corner tonight. And we are looking forward to, getting back into the groove of things with y'all. It's a lot that been transpired, and we are excited to hear all about what's going on with you guys, how things have been going with you. So we will certainly be getting in to some wonderful things. So for those of you who are joining with us, feel free to share and invite some people to the conversation, and we'll be getting started in just 1 second. Um, we're gonna get things rolling, and we'll pray and jump into our topic for tonight. So you guys, you know, y'all are special to us, and we're happy that we're able to get back in the couples corner with you all share. So we are looking for that, excited about it, and you all drop some info in. For the people who may not know who you are, what your name is, and how long you've been married. Um, and you can even say where you're from, state wise, so that they know what's going on with you, all that good stuff. Um, and we will, we'll give a couple seconds for a person or two to jump in, and we're gonna jump right into our topic for tonight. Again, we're happy that you all are with us, and we're able to be back in Couples Corner. So this is certainly a great thing, to be back here. We missed you guys. We had a few little things. When you got children like we got that are as active as they are, they get your schedule all filled up, and we've been all over the world with basketball, all that good stuff. So,
We're still going.
yeah, absolutely.
We hope oh, we hope that y'all can say that. If you can't see this, then provide to watch that replay
Exactly.
because we really wanted to move time. Share and give information.
Absolutely. So everybody can hear fine, all that good stuff. Um, we just want to make sure everything is good. Everybody can hear, everybody can see, all that good stuff. And we're gonna pray, and then we're gonna jump right into our topic for tonight. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for another opportunity to gather together in the couples corner. We thank you, Lord, for every couple that is represented here, every family that is represented. And we pray, Lord, that you would allow us to be able to share and to understand those things which you have for us. We pray, Father, that you will give us insight, you will give us understanding, and things that we can use, tools that we can use, so that our relationships can flourish and they can prosper, and that everything that we set out to do, that it will be done, and that we will be the example of what marriage looks like for those who encounter us. We pray, Father, that we would be examples of what love looks like. We will be the example of what consistency looks like, that we will be the examples of what not quitting looks like. So, Lord, we thank you that you've provided an atmosphere and an opportunity for us to be together and to learn together so that we can grow and mature and be better. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about marriage requires change. Marriage requires change. And so, how many of you realize that being married does require some change? You can't just be the same person that you were. You can't just continue to do the same things that you were doing if you're going to be married. Marriage requires you to do some sacrificing. It requires you to do some maturing. It requires you to do some growing up. It requires you to have some discipline. And some of us have not necessarily gotten into our relationship with the thought of giving. We've gotten into our relationships with the thought of, what am I going to get out of this relationship? In a nutshell, that is honestly the main reason that so many relationships have failed, because people felt like I wasn't getting enough in return. or I wasn't getting what I wanted. They weren't making me happy. They weren't providing for me what I wanted, what I needed. And many of us did not get into our relationships with the thought process of having something to give. We didn't get into our relationship saying, this is the capacity of love that I have, and I'm able to provide this and make someone else's life better because of this type of love that I give, this type of consistency that I give, this type of stuff that I provide and produce. Many of us don't get into relationships with that mindset. Many of us get into relationships with the thought process of, oh, well, I need them to have this, to do this, to do this. We got a long laundry list of the things that they're supposed to have and do in order for us to be happy and to be satisfied. But many of us don't consider what it looks like for us and what our role and our responsibility is to ensure that our mate is happy, satisfied, and pleased, and all of those things. So oftentimes, a lot of our relationships are one-sided and selfish, and that can create a demise in the relationship, honestly, if we're not careful. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to, really kind of dive into that a little. The fact that marriage does require work, and if we're going to be people who are in it, and we're going to be people who actually enjoy and love marriage, then we're going to have to do it the right way. So that's where we are. We want you guys to, of course, interact. This is not dictation. This is participation. So if you have questions, feel free to type your questions. If we have an answer, we will provide it. And if we don't, we will not make up. We also, want you to share your thoughts and your comments, things that you were able to do, things that you were able to share and to accomplish that would allow you to be able to show and have success in your relationship. So that's what we're talking about.
So, to my favorite people, that has not changed. It is the engaged couples. This is a very important topic for you because you have time to think about what will I have to change. Like a lot of things have to change when you are getting married. So you can create a list and decide what would I have to change. What will I have to change in my overall lifestyle, of course, but how I live in my home. Um, some people may live together, but hopefully you don't, and you come together after you get married, and you are going to have to think about that. If you're purchasing a house together, or how
Mhm.
how you're going to live, how you're going to what's it called cohabit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Cohabitate or
yeah,
coexist.
coexist in your house. So you may have to think about spiritually what church you want to attend if you don't attend the same church.
Mhm.
Um, what are you going to do? What church are you going to pick? Are you going to pick his church? Are you going to pick your church? Are you going to choose a whole new church?
Mhm.
Um, you may have to think about, of course, your finances. Like you should be talking about that from the beginning. Like you can't just be spending everything when you're married. Things change. Financial things change. It should change for the better.
Right.
We always find it funny that one person is doing things and two people get together and then they're having a struggle. But I think that the struggle is because we don't want to change.
Mhm.
We don't want to change. Even for those of us who are married, we don't want to, say what we say we're going to say.
Mhm.
We don't want to. It's all fine and good till we want to get something.
Right.
Man and woman, it's all fine
Mhm.
and good till we want to purchase something, or we want to go on a trip or something like that. We have to be on the same accord about paying bills and different things like that. Listen, we grew up different, right? All of
Mhm.
us grew up different. So to come together as one, it's going to be some change required, but it's possible. And even after you've been together for years,
Mhm.
you still have to continue to change. As you have children, as you get new careers or change in your career, that's something that may have to change. Even for my engaged couples, you may have to change your work schedule
Mhm.
because when you're single, hey, you can work any schedule you want to work. Get that money. Now your spouse may say, keep getting that money, please, right? Or your spouse may say, no, now listen, let's not do anything foolish, right? Because we need money to operate in this life.
Right.
But your spouse may say, yeah, overnight life. Like I used to do the overnight. And we found out the overnight life is not for this couple. Not for Team Bevans. Team Bevans is not gonna do well with the overnight life. Right? Um, So change it so when it's something comes up, if there's a position, I know I'm not going to take the overnight position. Now, if I was single, would I take it? Possibly. Possibly. I don't know because I really like to sleep when I do go to sleep. Y'all know, for those people who know me, know I can be up, but when I go down, I go down. So I if I was single, I could travel in my field. I could do whatever I want and not think about anybody. Now I have a whole family. I have children. I have a husband. So I have to think about that. Not that I can't do it, but there's some stipulations or some things we have to discuss. And so sometimes we get married or we are married and we think maybe I run the show, so or I make the most money, so I'm gonna work whatever schedule I want to work. No,
Right.
no, that's not how it goes. Um, so you these are things that you have to talk about. These are things that you have to say, okay, let's bring this to the table. And what better time to bring it to the table than the month of January? Because and probably we should do this in December leading into January. Because we do this thing called what resolutions. But we don't want to do resolutions, but you do want to say, like, what do we have to change? Okay. In our marriage, we were married 2 years, 10 years. With Team Griffin, 27 years. What do we have to change for year 2024? Because so far this has been working, but we needed to work better. Or so far, this has been, not doing so well. Or I wanted to save this amount of money. And last year we didn't save, that much. Or I think we should do this with the children and instead of what we've been doing for the past 6 or 7 years. Like things have to change. And I can give you an example. When we first started having children, you could have never told us, and I mean never. And I mean, Pastor Tony Smith was preaching about this. I promise you that man is a prophet. He was preaching about this, saying that your children will have to go to, well, soon you will be wanting your children to go to a private school. He was basically saying that. And no slight to public schools, y'all. I know your child can thrive wherever they are, yeah. But we want to get the best possible education. I'm not saying I got a lot of school teachers out here. Don't come for me. But what I'm saying is that I thought, like, man, every time he used to preach about it, I'd be sitting there saying, man, as long as school free, that's where my kids gonna be. Meanwhile, here we are, struggling with tuition. So, like, and for our reasons, but that's a change that we did because we were fine. And then things started getting, no, this is not okay. This is not okay. I need to be somewhere, maybe, somewhere where I feel like classes are smaller or whatever so that they can thrive, right? Or so that we can just put them in the best atmosphere possible. Even if you are going to a public school, you're going to look for the best one possible for your child. I hope. Right. I hope you would. I hope so, right? Or if your child has a situation, you're going to look for the best thing that can assist them. So for us, with our first, our oldest children, they public school, like, do it. Like, see y'all, get on the bus, do this. We don't do that now. The world is different, right? We don't do that. We have a son. Marcus was terrible when he was young. I'm not trying to repeat that, right?
What is she talking about?
Listen, family told me, y'all. So listen, it's gotta be true.
See that? Listening to these rumors in the streets.
So, you have to continuously change. So, you need to sit down and say, okay, this is not working. And sit down and have a conversation. And that's another thing, right? There are a lot of things in my brain that I want to say tonight. So if I go off topic, y'all, it's okay. Because I have not seen y'all or talked to y'all in a while, right? And no, I can't see y'all, but I can see. Okay. Even the people who didn't click in, I see y'all. Okay. So, there are a lot of things that you need to sit and talk about. And please don't tell me that you cannot have a conversation with your spouse. If you cannot communicate with your spouse, you need to go into prayer and figure out how to do it. You need to go into serious prayer and fasting and figure out how do we communicate with each other and be effective. Not communication that ends with slam doors, stuff wrong, stuff. Yes, this is still happening. People not talking for days. There's never a day I don't talk to Mom. Do I not want to talk to him some days?
She always been talking to me.
don't believe it. Okay. So, but when you want to change things, or when you want to have a better relationship, a better marriage, you're gonna have to communicate. You're gonna have to talk. No one can read your mind. No one can read your mind. Marcus wants me to make the bed. Are y'all making the bed? Y'all been making your bed? Please type in the chat and let me know if y'all been still making your bed. For those of y'all who was here last year, you know we're supposed to be making that bed every day, okay? I know we had a little challenge, but we're supposed to keep it up. So, and yes, at least 4 days out of the week, I'm trying to do it. It ain't every day, but I'm trying. So, if he wants to be made, I can't look through his head and say, oh, he want me to make the bed. No, he has to communicate that to me. I would prefer that you make the bed. So then I can make that change. Any changes that you have to make, right? It shouldn't be terrible for you. It should be, you should be happy to do it. Right? It shouldn't be like, oh God, I just hate this. It's so dumb making a bed. Oh my goodness. I mean, what's the harm? What's the harm making a bed? So that if as soon as you get out your bed, you make it, that's one thing you accomplished for the day already. So not only did you please the person that asked you to make it, but you accomplished something for yourself. Once you accomplished for that day, you can move with your day and see what's next. So, okay. All right, come on, y'all. Let's tell me if y'all making the bed. Okay. So, and some of y'all were just trained to make the bed. You know what I'm saying? Some people were just trained to wash the dishes before they go to bed, or make sure their kitchen is clean before they go to bed, or make sure their living room is clean before they go to bed. Some people weren't, right? So if you get married and that's what you want, you have to communicate. But you also have to know within yourself, if you're the one who's not used to it, that there's changes going to have to come.
Right.
Changes going to have to come in your finances. Changes going to have to come. If you're used to going out and buying a $5 thing, I told my daughter today, if you buy $5 coffee every day, that's $25 during the week. I mean, every day, 5 days a week. I know. Right? Then that's what? In 4 weeks, that's $100, right? When you get married, you might need that $100. Your spouse might be like, I'll make you coffee. What kind of coffee you want? We'll purchase it. We'll purchase some coffee for the month for $25. I'll create what you want, and you can have it every morning. But that's also going to require your spouse to change and be able to get up and prepare the coffee for you every morning. Right? So we got to give and take it. And it's not always going to be, well, I changed this, and this, so you're going to have to change this. No, it's not always that way. It's not always that way. It's not always, because I changed 2 things, you got to change 2 things. That's not how it is. It's not tit for tat in this marriage thing. Even as it's a partnership, we always talk about it's not 50-50. It's really not. Sometimes it's 80-20. And then sometimes, you the 20 and they the 80. Right. So you have to figure it out. But you have to start it with communication. And every topic we probably will ever talk about with you all starts with communication. And while we're talking, y'all can tell us some things that you had to change, or how often you think maybe you should change, or some things that were hard to change. I'll tell you. When I got married, I was like, if you don't get out the bathroom for real, I need to be in there. I need to be in the bathroom. So, of course, I can't change having to go to the bathroom, but you have to figure out how we're going to share this bathroom. And I know some of y'all got 5 and 6 bathrooms when y'all first got married, but we didn't. We had one upstairs and one downstairs, in the basement. And who was going all the way down there? Right? When I lived at home, I used to call it the men's room. So even if I was in the basement, I would go all the way upstairs. And my parents would be like, why did you use the bathroom? That's the men's bathroom.
Ain't that something? So
I feel like if it was anybody to go downstairs, it should be him. However, he had a routine that he still has to this day. And so you just gotta work around it. You just gotta work with it or work around it. Or you just forget it.
Get up early.
Run to the bathroom. Right? And for me, getting up early is out of the question. Getting up early so that I can beat you in the bathroom. Please go in that bathroom and take 20 minutes to come on out so I can take an hour on you. No, so I wasn't used to that, right? And even though I grew up with my mother, my father, and my brother sometimes in the house, I never felt like I had this bathroom problem. I felt like they probably had the problem with me. Standing up there trying to do my hair, be in the bathroom for hours, just whatever. When we start getting cordless phones and I start taking the phone in the bedroom, God knows. Hey, my mother probably was like, if this girl don't come up the bathroom. But that required change when I got married. He's like, are you serious? And he's like, I'm not doing anything new. And I'm like, no, in fact you are. But I never lived with him. Right? So I don't know how long you was in I'm like, this has got to stop. But at the same time, you know, you do what you gotta do. And I will change according to it. And then he changes too, he gets it now a little bit. So he gives a little bit more time. I mean, a little bit. I mean, but we're not gonna keep talking on that because this is not about us, right? This is about a conversation. But I'm just trying to give y'all an example of like something that I was just like, this can't be real life. Who takes you back from that? Who?
Plenty of people.
I mean, like, please come out. And I'm not a share the bathroom type of person. Like, because I know somebody out there like, Terry, just go in the bathroom. If it doesn't require you using it, he using it. If he in the shower, you just doing it. Yeah, that's fine some days. But I'm not always the share the bathroom type of person. I need my time. And you get your time, and I need my time. So we have to figure it out. But it's not to. He would never know if I never say like, I really can't believe you. Like, do you really stand in that? Do you do this or is this a joke? Is this a prank? Am I being punked? Like, is this the first month pranks or something? But it was real even to 20-something years later. It's still real. So, the times when we have places to go and things like that, I do get strategic. Like, okay, let me get clothes, because I want to make sure I get my time. Because at first I get mad. But what am I getting mad for? Because
Same thing I did.
this is what he's doing.
Right. People think that having a bald head is easy maintenance, and it's not. But go on.
No, I mean, that's fine. But you had hair, bald head,
That's what I'm
some
saying.
hair missing.
All
It
of that.
didn't
Wait a minute.
matter.
Wait a minute with the hair missing.
It didn't matter.
Walk gently.
It's all the same. It's all the same. I'm sorry, we're going to hit the topic one day. Why are men so upset when they hair? Right.
I mean,
But,
how many people want to be walking
but
around
if
with
you-
the sunroof open?
If you had your dad and you knew, like, if Olga did that, and then you possibly knew that was going to happen to you, maybe? I'm not sure. I don't know. But anyway, we'll talk about that
It's
one
a
day,
little-
too.
it's a little
men get really
different.
upset about that, especially my nephew. He don't play about that.
It's a little
Like-
different because y'all will throw a wig on, get some
Don't you do
tracks, and all
Y'all
that.
know what you do. Y'all stop playing. Let me scroll down and tell you. Y'all throw them wigs on too. Y'all don't play with me. Call them out. Peace, I be like. Like this yesterday. Stop the man. He said, you're not consistent. Most of us wig wearers are consistent. Some people don't even know it's so weird. It's so consistent. Okay? Y'all men need to get with it. If you want to do it fully. Do it consistent. Find out how much it costs and you can keep it up. That's what we did. Find out how much it costs. You can keep this maintenance up on. Okay?
We ain't doing it. It's too much. After we did Beijing and it only lasted a couple days, it was too much work. Like, man, look.
Beijing was a good fun. Well, let me not say something. I guess it's hair coloring, so
Right.
you still use it. Right?
And
But not how y'all was using that big can. Y'all had them sharp.
Beijing was a brand, not necessarily, it was coloring, but it was a brand. But it did become a phase. But people wasn't putting it in right when they started sweating. They had black
Whoa,
dripping down
I've
their
seen that
face and
before.
stuff. So
I've seen
you
that
know.
before. Like, get your time and get
that was user
get
error.
Get
That was
get
user
that,
error.
get
What's
that.
going on, brother? That was user error.
So yeah, that Beijing shouldn't be dripping. It should not be leaking down when you start sweating. But that's none of my business. I told y'all, there's so many things in my mind right now. But I do want to talk about that topic one day. Like, why men so sensitive about losing their hair? And then the funny thing is, y'all look fine with a bald head.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you,
This is
The
happening because of
equivalent. No, no, no,
we
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
mental change.
I'm
Just
talking about
change.
equivalent. I'm talking about equivalent of a man having a challenge with sunroof being open. That's him going bald. Is the same equivalent to a woman taking 37 pictures to get the right angle because she don't want her stomach in the picture, or she don't want certain positions, so she got to angle it right. Men not doing all that. They're just gonna take the picture and go on because that's not the source factor.
Because nobody complains about a man's stomach, right?
No, they do.
Just like nobody complains about a man having a bald head. But men complain, why you don't want your hair short. I don't want your hair long. See, that's change, y'all. My engaged couple, I'm telling y'all. Talk about this stuff now. Y'all think I'm playing. I'm dead serious, okay? I'm not dead serious, I'm alive serious. So start myself up. So anyway, no, for real, talk about these things because you think that, oh, I just been changing the color of my hair my whole life. And now I'm 35 and I'm about to get married. And I'm getting married with brown hair. And that's what he wants. He met you with brown hair. You had this brown hair all along. He's seen the pictures, but he don't want that other stuff. He want that. He want brown hair, long, if it's long, however it was. That's what he wants. Now, some men I do know don't. They like, long as it's done, long as it look good, it's fine. But some men like, yeah, no, you can't have short hair. You can't have like him. You can't be like that. Or so you got to make sure you know the preference, because when you're ready to change, or when you going through, when you in menopause and you talk about, I'm so hot, I got to cut all my hair up, and your husband like, I'm not gonna be with that. Like, you have to communicate with one another. um Let me see. Griffin said, what did you say? I had to change understanding the difference and respect of what your husband did.
Just the difference between the two. That's what I'm
Yeah, give me some more, a little bit, so I can. So hey y'all. So okay, David makes the bed. Okay, y'all making the bed. Okay, Cameron, are you? Oh man, you're not making the bed. Or you talking about
No,
that
that was
ball?
all
That
man.
ball.
No, that was the all man about the Beijing and
Oh,
and
okay,
the ball
okay,
head.
okay.
That's when that came.
All right. So
It's because men we stick together.
okay. So y'all stick so much together. Okay. All right. So so when you keep me off. So let's talk about children. When you bring children in, or when you have children, if you were a blended family, there was change that had to take place. There was change that had to take place before you got married. There was change that still has to take place while you're married. Because as the children grow, you got to change. And sometimes one spouse is not willing to change. Me, I gotta realize I can't give my children every single thing. I will give them the world. I literally will. I literally will be like, let me see how I can box this world up and give it to them. Because why? Because I didn't have a world. Not because I had bad parents. Just because they knew that they was giving me the world. Right? So I just feel like I don't want you to have no struggle I have. I'm going to train you about this. I'm going to tell you about this. But let me still see if I can assist you with it. And that's not always the way. And just,
But assisting and giving are two different things.
Well, sometimes for me, I bottle it all together.
No.
And the thing is, most dads.
Because we're always in teaching.
Yeah. So the thing is that I can't do that. I can't take up my 23-year-old and just keep giving her. Like, I can't.
But even in that, there's a difference. And it's not in every male and every, female, like every dad and every mom. Because it can be different and it can fluctuate. But a lot of men are more on the teacher side. I would rather teach you how to do it, how to get it, and achieve it versus give it to you. So where, like you said, I would just give you whatever. In our mind, a lot of times, if I give it to you, Then when you want it again, you're gonna come back because you're gonna want me to give it to you again. Versus if I teach you how to get it and I teach you the value of it, then you learn how to get it. So if you ever want it again, you know the process to get it. And then we'll really find out if you actually want it because now that you know
Yeah.
what it takes to get it, are you willing to do what it takes to have it again? And if not, you really didn't want it. You just wanted something else from me.
And it's kind of weird about me because I do some of those same things, but
Hmm.
I still, like, I have a lot of conversations and a lot of this is how you do it, a lot of training, this is how you, whatever, a lot of conversations, like, a lot of conversations. If I could put my kids in here, they'd be like, a lot of meetings, a lot of talk, right? And they're not always smiling when they leave. But sometimes I still, you know, try to help so much. But I see that they're still gonna be okay when I don't help them because
Absolutely.
sometimes they do get it, right? So I have to change to that, right? Sometimes your spouse has to help you change to that, right? And especially if you have a son. I don't care about listen, I don't care. None of y'all women out here are a man. I don't care. You're not a man. You were born with a vagina, you're a woman, right? So you can't teach your son how to be a man. You can assist him, you can guide him, you can, assist him along the way, but you can't do it. And
Mhm.
if his father isn't there, right? And if your husband isn't stepping up to the plate, and if your husband happens not to be his father, I pray that God will bring a male figure to assist with that. But there's, we got to stop acting like we doing it all. We can do it all. No, we need it. We need assistance with that. And I know I do because when you have 5 girls and then you have a boy, even if like Graham was around before and Dominic was around before, but it ain't like you- when you like when you literally like, oh, these are the difference. Oh no, oh no, this is what you want to do today. The girls didn't do that. So sometimes I thank God because I'm like, well, this ain't right. And I had somebody tell me the other day, it's different, Cherie, it's different. Of raising a boy and a girl is different. And so even in that, you may have to change some of the things you do in your marriage, as far as how you operate your home, right? I just want to read a little bit. If you all have this book, relationship. It is on page 67, and it talks about create a world the two of you share. And it says, oftentimes in a relationship, both parties have their own lane, expertise, and world that they are great in. One of the hardest things to do is establish a world together. When you establish a world together, it promotes partnership and builds security. When your mate is not included or respected in your world, they feel like an outsider and usually don't want to be involved. So, creating a world that you share is a lot of change, especially for my engaged couples that's listening. Gonna listen to the replay, whatever. It requires a lot of change to create a world together, especially if you're established, especially if you're older than probably 21, right? It requires a lot. But if you want a marriage to be successful, it can, but you have to want to be the change.
Right.
Like all the time, it's not they're gonna change for me. Sometimes it's okay, what can I do to make this work? Okay, I'm used to this. I have a friend and we laugh and she's like, is there a possible way I could get married and he can stay at his house and I can stay at mine? But that's because she's older. Like she like that would be nice, but if you think he could be at his house and we can come together for dinner
Yeah, that's not right.
and we go in bed. Like, I mean, I've had people be like, you think he can get his permit? And I understand, but you have to change to become one.
Right.
You have to change to make this partnership work. If you go into business with someone, there are changes that you have to make that business profitable.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand why we don't feel like we should change your marriage. When you go work for someone, you change. You do whatever that protocol says you're going to do. Whatever that handbook for that job or that company says you're going to do, you do it. Because when you go work at the next company, you can go and they're talking about, well, at this company we did, and they're going to tell you, go back. Go back and see if they hire you back at that company because that's not what we do here. We change. We have to change. So, And y'all keep telling me anything. Oh, okay. So you said the difference is you were understanding the difference in cooking, cleaning, communicating, and parenting, just to name a few. Okay, right. The difference is in how he operates and how you operate, folding clothes, paying bills, blanket. All of that is real stuff, y'all. This is real stuff. But this stuff, if we don't work on it, if we don't try to change it, try to come to a compromise, um, it will mess us up. We'll be 20 years in, like, yeah, be in the bathroom, you know, and mad about it. Like, what are we mad about that for? There are so many other things that we have to deal with in our day-to-day lives, right? And some of y'all need to really, hear me and understand what we are saying today. Because you wanted to be married. I don't think anyone held a gun to your head that we walking down the aisle, right?
Right.
We gonna have 2 kids after we walk down the aisle. Nobody was holding a gun to you every day in, day out. Get up. Nobody was doing that. You chose it, right? These are choices we make. You chose that. This is, back to the fact of being at a job. When people give me bad customer service, you chose this. I did it. I'm the customer. I came here to get good customer service. If I give people bad customer service, I would be crazy. Like, number one, though, I'll probably lose my job. But as a massage therapist, even if I get why? Why? I chose this. I chose to provide relaxation to people. I chose to remove muscle tension and different things from people. I chose that. Why would I be mad at them or mean with them when they come? Even if they're late. Right. Because if you're late, the policy is you're gonna get, if you late, if you come with 45 minutes left in your hour, you're gonna get, that's all you're gonna get. You know it. Right? So, we have to want to change. We have to want to provide a good atmosphere for where we are. I would never want to come home every day and be disgusted. Come home every day upset, mad, because why? I just don't want to take a little bit of time to change. Or I just don't want to take a little bit of time to communicate the change. And let me say this, and you can talk some more. Listen, the change may not happen right away.
Right.
You can communicate it, but it might not happen right away. Because I've been communicating for years that I need to get in the bathroom. I communicated for years that I don't like to take out the trash. I communicate, I can go down the list of things that I can still sit here at 25 years and be mad about. Why though? I'm not. Some of y'all are though. And if some of y'all would type in here and be honest, y'all be like, yeah, because I'm still mad because,
And to jump on what you were saying, I think that part of the problem comes in because, like you were mentioning, like I'll communicate that I don't like this, or I don't want to do this, or I need this. And sometimes we think that there has not been any reciprocated communication because we didn't get the answer that we prepared or that we wanted for ourselves. So if I'm saying, like you talked about making a bed, that I want the bed to be made up, but then you turn around and communicate, oh, well then if that's what you really want, you probably are going to need to do it yourself. Now, if that's not the answer that I was looking for, then I will think that I communicated something that was not heard. It was heard and it was responded to. It just may not have been the response that I wanted or was looking for, but the same way that I was able and free to share, so were you. And so is your mate. So I think that sometimes we have these rehearsed answers for questions that we have, or we have these rehearsed outcomes for situations that we face, when in essence, it's not fair to the other person that only your way is the one that is considered and not theirs. Only your feelings or only your, perspective inside of the story or what have you is considered and not theirs. It would be completely unfair for me to voice things that I want or things that I desire or things that I like and me not take into account or consideration what she already has on her plate and what it would look like for her to provide those things for me. That would be insensitive. That would be selfish. That would be a lot of things. Now, it does not mean that she can't take what I say and consider and try to, figure out how to implement those things to make me happier. That's cool. But it would be insensitive for me to make those claims and to make those, requests and to make those things, but yet not consider what she has before her. Like a lot of people have that mentality. I talked to you guys before just about, being a at-home parent. Like people take that as something that is light because it's not something that they do. And most of the time it's men, because men usually are the ones who are trying to go to work and think that the mom, which hopefully is the wife, is going to be the one that's staying home and watching and managing the kid. But then when you get home from work, you don't take the kid or kids as if they haven't been with them for the last 8-9 hours. So it's like, well, I went to work. So in your mind, you think, well, I went to work. So when I come home, there should be some sense or form of relaxation from my work day, as if being with the kids all day and manning them and still maintaining the home and still trying to provide things for you and still trying to do all of that is not work. So oftentimes we're not considerate when we start looking at things. We only want what benefits us. We only want what we want. We're not considering or considerate of what it looks like in the other person's shoes. So, it would only take a little bit of consideration to realize that if they've been with the child or children for 8, 9, 10 hours, that they need a break. The same way that you've been to work for, 8, 9, 10 hours and you want to come home and have a break. Somewhere along the line, we have to figure out how to make this work where we both are being considered, we both are being respected. And this is where compromise comes in, which is something that we don't like to do, because compromise, again, is dealing with you giving up something, you not getting your way, you not having things go, with your plan. So those kinds of things all matter. And if we aren't going to be considerate of the people that we're in a relationship with, it's going to become a toxic relationship, because one of two things is going to happen. Either that mate is going to start speaking on those things, or they're going to hold those things in, trying to be considerate and kind and gentle until it becomes toxic to them. And then they start bleeding on you.
Y'all have any questions? Y'all can type them in the chat. If y'all have any questions, just type them in the chat. I'm sure y'all have read this before, but we will read again. Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord, for the husband is head of the wife, as also Christ is head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, just as the church is subject to Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word, that he might present her to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that she should be holy and without blemish. So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own body. He who loves his wife loves himself. But no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Nevertheless, let each one of you in particular so love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. And so, y'all, first, this all have to begin with God, number one. Because you got to be able to be obedient to the Lord in your own walk, right? And in your own spiritual life. And then be able to do what you are required to do according to your role that you play, if you're the wife or the husband. This is what it's a role. So, so that requires change. That requires obedience. Obedience to God. And so God knew it. He knew that we was going to have to change. He knew that I can't put two people together and think that everything's going to be fine. So let me tell them what they should do. Love, respect, submit, right? So we don't have to really search far. We can search the word.
Yeah. And husbands, let me say this to you. Um, Sometimes as husbands, we harp on the fact that wives submit yourselves to your own husband part. Because we just think that they need to be submissive to us and that we're the head, we're the cover, they need to follow all of that. And all of that is true. But we oftentimes leave out the qualifications that you're supposed to have for that woman to want to do that and to be able to do that with honor and to be able to do that willingly and to be able to do it without it being grudgingly because you are one that deserves to be followed because you are one that deserves to be honored that you are one that deserves that position and that type of treatment. So I think that part of the problem when it comes to us men as husbands and just being raw and honest, we get frustrated with our wives when we have not invested the amount of time and attention that we are supposed to ensure that they become like Christ made the church. God said that the husband is supposed to be to the wife what Christ is to the church, which is the Savior, which is the forgiver, which is the Redeemer, which is the Restorer, which is the Protector, which is the Provider. So, whatever Christ is and has been to the church is what the husband is supposed to be to the wife. And when you are not consistently being that, you don't have room to complain about your wife, nor her character, nor her integrity, nor the things that she's lacking because of two things. One, you already knew these things before you chose her. That's first. And then secondly, you chose her knowing that these things existed. So you signed up to be the one that was going to minister to her to make sure that she was better. And if you have not fulfilled that assignment, then you can't be mad. And if you made a bad decision by choosing someone that you thought was going to be a student, but they were a rebellious student, then that too is your fault because you chose them. God does not force anyone into marriage. He is not saying, this is your wife and y'all go get married tomorrow. He ain't doing it. He ain't doing it. Man said Adam did it, messed it up, and God said, no more. I'm not doing it. Anybody who else that gets married, you get married because you chose it. I created the right person for you, and you guys chose not to do the right things and then blame me. Nope, not doing it no more. So now you choose who you want, and it's your choice, and it's your responsibility to make it work. I'm just going to provide for you the blueprint. I'm going to provide for you the things that you need to do in order for it to be successful and for it to be helpful. If you do that, great. But if you don't blame me.
So if y'all have any questions, we'll give you a second to type. I do have a question for you. How comfortable is change?
Well, I'll start with that. So, I think that
I want to start. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
I think that change is not always comfortable because we are creatures of habit, and change forces us to get out of autopilot. Change forces us to think outside of the box and to present something different than what we were accustomed to doing that we've done so long that it becomes easy. Change requires work, and a lot of times we want to avoid work because we want to take the easiest route possible, the fastest route possible, and the easiest and the fastest route is not always the right route. So change is not always comfortable, nor easy. Oh.
No, they strike me down now.
He ain't gonna strike you down because I'm sitting right here. That will harm two people.
I think change is easier, let me say, when it's something that's easy. Like you said, change requires work. So of course it'll be a little uncomfortable when it's something that maybe I might have to research or something I might have to, that's like you saying you want something for dinner that I've never cooked before. Now I'm like, okay, I gotta get a recipe. I gotta call one of my friends. I gotta call my mother. Like, Mom, you ever make this? Because I need And no, man, you don't need to make it for Marcus. Let me do it. So, that part can be a problem, sometimes. And you can get frustrated. It really get frustrated with yourself. Not really the person that wants you to change because you don't want to do the work. You're frustrated because you're like, I don't feel like researching this. Well, I don't feel like
Learn.
learning how to do this so I can change. You know, it I'm not a political person, so I think I was like, is this a voting year? I was like, oh shit. Oh my friend.
Right. Not old shucks, I gotta hurry up and get to the poll. Old shucks, I gotta call my friend.
Y'all gotta give me the information I need. But guess what? If one of them say,
get it yourself.
I ain't telling you. Like, this is what you can do. You can look at this. We'll start sending me articles. Look, read this and do this. And I'm gonna be upset. Come on, you only just give me the rundown. You already know it. You already know it.
These are the people that cheated on tests in school.
You already know it. I didn't cheat on tests.
No, you just said it. You already know it.
No, I didn't cheat on tests in school. No, I struggled, but I got through. No, I didn't cheat on tests in school. But I do depend on my old daughter used to call at me, and I got this my friend, she can lay it down about some candidates. I'll be like, yeah. Now what? Now who else was going to go for? They ain't gonna tell nobody who to vote for. But I need to know, what is this person like? What are they about? Did you read about them? What they about? Please. Then I go back and tell my mother like I already did. Mom, I love you. Read this. And them questions, somebody break these questions down for me. First of all, y'all, don't wait to read the questions the day you about to go vote. That's why you get the thing ahead of time so you can read it. And you can know what's going on, and you can know. So when you get there, we're not standing in line forever because you're trying to read the questions for the first time and understand what's going on. Right? That would be me. But anyway, that's why I need them. I really need them. But if I decide that I'm going to change, it is. It's the SAT for me. Because I have things work. I got to work on saving lives every day. Right? And I know some of y'all like, and when you vote and you say, I understand that, and I'm going to vote. And if some of you want to send me some articles and tell me something, I'll be more than glad to receive it. Trust me. Just don't come with me debating or telling me what I should, because I'm not political. I don't do that. So you can come saying all this stuff and I'll just let you talk. Let you talk. It's happened before. I was like, okay, oh, that sounds good. And see, y'all think because sounds good to me. Can we just discuss who the person is and what they do and all of that? Because all of this stuff you hollering at me about doesn't matter. Because when I get to the poll, I'm still going to make a choice. But I'm going to be informed because you told me. So y'all send it over. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if y'all say Cherie, like, no, you had to change. No, this year, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. Breathe and change and make changes. Then I had to. But that is something that I don't want to do the work with. It's the same in your marriage. If he's saying, oh, I need this, that, the third, or I need to do this, or whatever it is, y'all, it could be anything. You have to do the research and the work if you don't already know how to do it. Or if you can't just, oh, it's not something you can just do. Some of us don't know how to make a bed, so that's why we don't do it. We ain't never had to do it. If I come over your house, I'm like, this is not, you did not make the bed. You put the little triangle at the bottom and flip it and tuck it. Like, that's not a made bed. Just laying the sheets on it is not a made bed. Now, I don't have to worry about doing that because he don't want to flip and tuck. So, hey, but I know how to make a bed, right? So, some of us don't. So, we just like, what? No, just put the sheets on there. You're going to get in it because that's what I used to think. What I need to make the bed for because I'm coming right back to get in it. Right? But if that's what he chooses, then I'm going to do it. Not just saying something practical, y'all, so we can get this, but this goes deep. This runs deep, you know? You might not see why my husband don't want me to buy this or go here, go there, but at the end of the year, when he can show you how much money y'all save, and then y'all can go to a big place or a big country, another country, and I'm down Virginia Beach, then guess what? You like, I get it now. Change is good. Change is not always bad. Change is good. If it helps your relationship to move forward, it's good. Right? If it's not being a dictatorship, though, and being a communication, then it's good. sometimes we're dictating to each other what you're gonna do. And no adult is going to maybe no adult that is mature wants somebody dictating to them what they're gonna do and how they're gonna do it. All right. So let's see here. It's not hard if you really want to change. That's true. That's true. I do agree with that. It won't be hard if you really want to change. If you really want, and I feel after a while, you're just like, I want things to work. What do we have to do? And I believe if we really trust God with these relationships, we came down the aisle, got married with God. And if we really trust God for our relationship, then we gotta trust that the hard things, He'll make them easy.
Right.
We gotta trust that, okay, God, I don't really know how to do this. I don't really know how to cook chicken and dumplings, but that's what He wants. He said on Tuesdays He wants that. Or that's what she wants. It's not always the woman cooking, because Marcus cooks a whole lot. But but if every day He giving me something that I'm like, I don't want it. I'm okay. I don't, but if He chooses to cook what I'm asking, then it's like, okay. Because that doesn't, if I'm asking for something, yes, it might require you to have to change to spend a little bit more time in the kitchen because you don't know how to fix this, or to spend a little bit more time, figuring out what seasonings to put on there. Right. But, and it's not all about cooking, y'all. I'm just giving you, practical things. I could go deep, but I don't want to go deep because I don't want anybody to think I'm talking about their situation. But, there are so many things, like, we have to just figure out how to do this. So, general question. What is the correct identification of a provider? I feel that in most cases, the term provider is used according to someone's opinion of what they believe a provider is and isn't often biblical. What does that look like for a husband?
Great question. So the first thing is that the root word of provider is provide. The first problem is society has made provider only monetary. So, but a husband is supposed to provide stability. It's supposed to provide emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. So that provision is not just in your dollar, because you can still be a provider while you're unemployed, because I'm still providing for you spiritually. I'm still providing for you emotionally. I'm still providing, for you physically. I just at the current moment don't have the financial wherewithal to provide financially. But it doesn't mean that I'm not a provider at all. And so I think that sometimes, these are conversations that have to happen, because we need to find out what certain things look like, because when it's all said and done, we all come from different upbringing. We all come from different lifestyles. We all come from different teachings and knowledge levels and understanding of things. So we need to be sure that we're speaking the same language when we're talking about certain things. So to find out what is a provider to you, because guess what? You might make my job easy if all you want me to provide is some spiritual, and all you need me to do is to pray, and all you need me to do is to make sure that you're spiritually okay. That you might make my job easy. I might be fired from 3 or 4 other areas that I should be providing in, because you don't want me to provide in. So there are conversations to find out, because again, this is about what your mate needs. When you come to the table, you're coming to the table in a relationship to have your needs met and to meet needs. So, I always use the analogy of like 10 things. So if it took 10 things for me to be complete, and I came to this relationship having 8 of them already, I only need 2 things to be complete. So while I only need those 2 things to be complete, she might be coming to the table with 8 things. But I already got 8 and only need 2 to be complete. So her role as a helpmate is to ensure that the 2 things I need, I have. Now, she might be frustrated if I'm not sensitive, because she'll be sitting with 6 things that she can do that I'm not using because I haven't included her and we haven't become one yet. But in reality, for me to become whole, I just needed 2 things and she came to the table with 8. So it's about us being able to communicate and understand and compromise so that those things can work and we can, have what we need to have and build things so that it makes sense. So those are the kinds of things, when we start talking about the ability to be, a provider, what that actually looks like. Because I got to know what she wants me to provide. Some people want you to provide various things, where some others may only want you to provide certain. But you need to be biblically, a, you need to be spiritual. You got to have a relationship with God so that you can lead your family to Christ and you can be in God's image. You do need to have financial because you need to be able to ensure that your family is taken care of. You do need emotional support because your family is going to need you to lead emotionally. Because by default, women and children are more emotional than men are. So if they're emotional and as a man, we don't have our emotions intact, then we'll become emotional and they're going to be crazy because they're looking to us for stability in their emotional state. And then you become emotional. They're like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. So, it looks differently. So, the potential of a man, those things, those attributes, you got to be able to cultivate. You got to be able to encourage. You have to be able to lead. You have to be able to, financially sustain. You have to be able to spiritually, impart and to pour in the areas that they lack in. You have to be able to be cognizant of trauma in their history so that you can know how to lead them out of those traumatic thoughts in instances and help them become whole. You have to become a heart surgeon because if they've had broken heart, then you have to be the one that has to keep picking up these little pieces that they don't know are still on the ground and help them get their heart back together so that you can have a full heart. There's a lot to it when it comes to the relationship that we have to understand, and each person has a different level of requirements for them when it comes to provision. So, and that goes both ways.
Yeah, that was a good question. If you grow up being a provider, pay the bills, that's
Hmm.
what it is. Your husband, all the other people, whoever, they pay the bills. They support, whatever y'all needed
Hmm.
to create what they want, right? Or that food was in the house, whatever, because they gave you the money, so you go purchase the food, whatever. Sometimes there's a little bit more to it than
Hmm.
that, but there are plenty of people who believe that, you know, this is just okay, you pay the bills, that's all I need, you good, whatever, but there's a little bit more to. Oh, sorry, you can't hear me. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you was talking about.
Okay. Okay, sorry. So I said Marcus position the mic so you know it can be heard by him and not me. So I
As you
said
see,
that
the mic is near her.
I
She
said
just on here like she on 976 and
no, I don't do 976.
Vera Demalio.
So these people don't know what 976 is. We is totally so um I said, when a lot of people were taught, that their uncle, their father, they saw their uncle, their father, their grandfather provide, but providing was providing at the, with the money, providing, what you need so they can have what they want. So basically they're gonna provide the finances, they're gonna pay the bills so you can, create this home, or they're gonna provide the finances so you can purchase what's needed, food so you can cook, clothes
Right.
for the kids, whatever. And they're good because that's what they did. And if they do nothing else, they did that, and that should be good enough. But there's so many other things that is needed from a provider. But first, you have to go with God.
Right.
You have to be with God. You have to know what God is asking you to do for your relationship and all the things that Marcus said. But that was a really good question. If y'all have any more questions, um, please type them. Any comments about things that you changed or things that were hard for you to change or things that you want to warn people, you might have to change. Like anything, because I'm telling y'all, no questions. First of all, don't think I shouldn't ask this question because you're gonna help someone. This is a promise, I can tell you. There are people that watch that can't answer questions.
Right.
And those of you who can or who are free to type on here, you may think that's wild. But there are some people who can't because eyes are watching. So don't be afraid to ask your question. And you know, me and Marcus, we're gonna give you an answer if God gives it to us, or if we don't have it, and we're gonna hopefully lead you to somebody who has it. We're not gonna sit up here and just tell you anything. And yes, the triangle at the end. So if it's so I don't know. I think it is called a triangle. But yeah. I had to get you up on it. You fold it, then you lift it up. It's like a triangle, and then you tuck it. So, maybe that's just the way I learned. But yeah, so I'm cooking dinner a lot more as comfort, and that is for some of us. Like people think to that point. I was not a kitchen person, like, but I communicated that before we got married. Like, you're not gonna get no. You're gonna eat. Listen, y'all can see that none of us miss meals in here, right? But
walk easy.
But and I thank God for people who send plates and all that. But I do cook. I told my mother over the holidays, I was like, I think my family think I don't cook, right? I do cook. It's just that I prefer to just cook for my family, and I prefer to not cook. As soon as somebody don't want me to cook, I'm great. My son can use the air fryer. Great, we'll take it. Whatever you can cook in the air fryer tonight, we'll take it. Like, it's no little babies in here. Like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't have to do that. But, you know, reality is, I know that my family needs to eat. He knows that his family needs to eat. Well, thank goodness he cooked too. But I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just wasn't that one. Now I like to follow recipes every now and then. I do get on a little thing where I do this, and kind of now, you know, I kind of eat the same thing pretty much every day when I'm actually like meal prepping or doing what I'm supposed to do, right? But I would rather that somebody else do it. Like, I'll pick it up. I would. Marcus knows that. But I made that clear because you don't want to get married and then your husband like, oh, you're not good. Oh. Now I'm good for breakfast, but then I don't feel like getting up. Like, I love to cook breakfast food and stuff, but then I don't feel like getting up. You might get that at 12 o'clock if it's the weekend, if I don't have anything to do. Right? But our lives are so busy. It's so weird because our lives are so busy that, you know, we actually have to, and we really have to make a point now to do things so we can eat better. But for a minute, it's just like grab whatever you can get, whatever. You know, Pop-Tart, get that Pop-Tart, let's get out the door. But now, you know, it's a little different. But I've always cooked. Marcus has always cooked. I just don't share that with people because now I just share it with the world. Because who wants to do that? Who wants to be? But some people love it. It's relaxing for them. It's tiring. Yeah, buying food. Yeah, it's tiring. Yes. And then some people used to tell me, I used to hear my mother and aunt and them say sometimes after they cook, even though they liked it, after they cook, they don't want to eat. But they happy to sit around and watch you eat. I'm like, now come on now, I did all this work. I need to eat. I need to eat too. You know, and sometimes I still eat. Like, my mother cooked for us and we go over there and she'd be like, Mom, come on, get your plate.
That's because you've been sampling the whole time.
Like, I hope she watched this. You've been eating out the pot. Don't put that spoon back in the pot. No, you dipping. All right, no double dipping.
We had enough. How does one compromise on how often sex is made? And is scheduling it a bad idea? That's a great question. And sorry for those of you who can't see it on YouTube, Facebook. That's from Instagram. So no, it's not a bad thing to schedule it, but it's a conversation because sex drives are different. You know, you might be a once a weeker and your spouse might be a 3 times a week. And so if you are the one a weeker, then once you've had that once a week, you fine. While they're still waiting on 2 other times for them to be. And if you're not careful, then you can be the person that only needs the one a week, and then you're walking around fine trying to figure out why the other person is tripping. And it's because your need was met while theirs is still not. And you want them to understand why their need isn't met, and you're still walking around smiling and you're trying to figure out why they have an attitude. So it's really a conversation because you need to understand each other. For some reason, we don't like to have what I guess would be uncomfortable or tough conversations, but they shouldn't be uncomfortable or tough when you're talking to your mate, um, because this is just about how is this going to work? How can we make this effective? How can we make it healthy, so it's not toxic? Because the reality is, just like food, sex is an appetite. And so if you have an appetite and you're not being fed, then you walk around hungry. You don't want your mate walking around hungry, because you know that when you're hungry, that's the worst time to go to the market, because you'll start picking up things you don't need, things you really don't want, just because you're hungry and you're in the vicinity of food while you're hungry. So you don't want your mate walking around hungry and their needs haven't been met, while you're happy and satisfied because yours were, because you have different needs. So it needs to be a conversation so that you can have an understanding and that you can come to some sense of compromise, of how this is going to happen.
And I would say that scheduling it, you really need to communicate, because sometimes the spouse may think, okay, now it's a job, because now you want to schedule it. Now it's work to you. Now it's hard. Now it's
Right.
Let
It's
me get
Tuesday.
this done. Like, it should be like exciting, right? It should be fun. It should not be something that should like, oh Lord, he said it's Tuesday, and you like, it's
Again,
Tuesday.
it was just
Like,
Tuesday last week.
how can I get up with it? I got a headache. And the guy be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Sometimes a woman be like, you think I don't care? Like,
Right.
let's get it.
We got a headache.
So,
Just keep your head still.
Don't get him started. Please don't get him started. But you may have to be careful with that, but definitely have conversations about it. As married couples, even if you're engaged, I feel like there should be nothing you cannot communicate or talk about, right? And I hope that we're helping y'all. Because the only way that you're gonna get past the point that you're at, right, or get through the rough patch, is to communicate about it, right? You're never gonna get through it if you don't if you don't talk about it. If you're not able to say, this is how I feel and this is how you feel, and how do we come to a happy medium where we're both satisfied, because you both should be satisfied, right? It's never like I'm good and you be okay,
Right.
Because then maybe that wasn't the person you should have married, because you know what I'm saying, like 9 times out of 10 you already knew what they required or what they wanted, but you need to talk about it clearly. Like, sometimes when you hear it, or when you hear what your spouse wants, it really makes you say, oh, so you really wanted it 7 days a week. Like, okay, when you really hear them verbalize it, right? When you really hear them verbalize, like, listen, life is changing for me. So I'm getting older. So sex drive is going up or sex drive is going down, whatever it is. Like, at different stages, this is going to always be a conversation, right? But it's possible to get through all of it. Is there another question? Okay. Do y'all have any more questions? We can answer, please, y'all. Even share this so people can watch the replay. We will be here every Sunday at 8 p.m. Please have engaged couples, married couples that you know, come join us. This is not a dictatorship. This is definitely a conversation. Please tell people they can come and and talk to us about whatever, what you said, oh, wifey jeans, right? Yeah, like some people feel like, let me get this done. But are you really enjoying it? Like, we laugh and we joke, but after a while, it's like, no, this should not be a bad place for you. Right. This is not the color purple. Like, what? You should be having a good time.
Right.
In the bed. Like, this should be amazing. It really should be. It
And
should not be like, God, all right, come on. So, and some people have to talk. We have talked before about, like, some people have to talk about, are you a day person? Are you a night person? Like, you sometimes not that they don't want it, but it's just the time. So you have to communicate these things because you cannot, and listen, when you communicate something, guys, please stop thinking that this is genie. We're gonna, like, and then in 2 minutes you're gonna get everything you want. That's not gonna happen. We
right.
have to communicate it. Sometimes there's a plan, sometimes there's a process that we gotta work up to get the things that we desire in our mate. It just is. You know, I was telling somebody the other day that I talk a lot. The last time me and Marcus had to preach together, I talked about how he bought me something from someone because he saw that I liked it on their page and they sell clothes, and so he bought me something. And she came to church and she brought it to me and was like, "It's already paid for. Your husband paid." I broke down crying all of this, right? And I was just trying to say, like, just wait a little while. And not that Marcus didn't care for me, but what I was saying is, like, when he can see the things, like, and I don't have to, now I feel like we got to a place and I don't have to communicate, like, I really do like those dresses she's selling. Like, you heard me say it 7 times.
I'm like, all right, go back to the site and look at it again.
Not that I even thought he was going to purchase it. Not that I even thought he wanted it. But the fact that he thought about me, it was not my birthday. It was not our anniversary. It was my Valentine's Day. Like, it was not that. And it's not that he doesn't do that. But when it's something that you really want, oh my gosh, just wait a little while. Like, and things will happen. But we're so impatient. With the microwave ministry, we wanted to, put it in for 30 seconds and it's hot. No. That's not how it is, especially if you've waited for years or months to speak on a topic. You're mad, you're frustrated, but they just hear about it. Like, come on, y'all, we got to give each other some slack. You're mad, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're even, emotionally having behaviors. I was going to say acting out. I mean, use different choice of words. Having behaviors, right? Like, something is wrong with you, and your spouse is just finding out about the situation, and you want the situation to change tonight. You've been dealing with this for 6 months. Just heard about it. Like, give me some time. I need to figure it out. If you want me to start cooking chicken dumplings, I gotta go to the market. I gotta get a recipe. Like, tomorrow is not the day you get me. Now, I would probably try, just because who I am. I would probably stress myself out and try. Let me hurry up and fix this chicken dumplings and be a mess. Then the next time I cook, it would be so good. Like, did you do this? Like, but you have to give things time. We don't give things time, and we do the same thing with God. We praying, we get up, or we stop praying, and we like, now God, now there are some things that I ask God, can you do it today, please, Lord? Like, in this same hour, please let me see it. Doesn't the word of God say that? In that hour, in that same hour, Lord, please, me and my daughter always glad to say that. But there are a lot of things that God's like, wait a minute, you've been messing up for how many years, Sheree? 30 of your 46 years, and you want me to do this when? As soon as you say amen? No. Nope. I'm going to go ahead and let you wait. Let your patience, get your patience up and your faith up, and then I'm going to provide it for you. And then sometimes we wind up right in the middle of the change that we requested or we were looking for, and we don't even realize it because we're so busy being negative. We're so busy being like what we don't have. I'm going to charge y'all to do this week. Oh, I like being on Sundays. Then we can have a full week to do it, right? I'm going to charge y'all to do this week. Don't think about what's not happening. Think about all the things that are happening. All the things that have changed in your relationship, in your marriage, if you're engaged. All the things that have changed. Think about that. Do not think about, okay, he don't take over the shirt. But think about all the times that he's paid the bills, or that she's paid the bills, or that she's, provided a way for whatever, for y'all to drive, eat, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, see how long that list is. And stop harping. I can speak to myself because I'm the negative person I used to be. And I almost fell back in it a little couple months ago. But I was the negative person. Like, everything is bad. Like, what? That's just, and this probably gonna happen. And that's probably gonna happen. And that's shock to some of y'all who know me because I can encourage y'all real good. But in my own life, mothers will be like, and why do you think something bad is always about to happen? Like, we have to think on the positive. We have to think on what we already have going on, right? If it's just that y'all opened your eyes together that day, tomorrow morning, and we're going to get a chance to fix or to do something different, then thank God for that. But if you open your eyes and like, and last night I still didn't have it, and you heard Team Bevans say, we need to come on. It's not the way. And definitely, we do not want you having arguments about anything we talk about. A conversation, a communication, a plan, a goal. That's what we're looking for y'all to have. Not a disagreement, not an argument, not calling us, talking about, now, didn't you say that, yes, we will give you clarity, but we don't want you having a war because of it. Because what we say is an outline. You have to figure out what the bullet points are in that outline for your relationship. Yep. And until we all start doing that and realize that Team Bevans is not Team Griffin, and Team Griffin is not Team Askew, and Team Askew is not Team Thomas, then we will all be a little bit better. Right? Because yes, we do. You may look up to people and you may be like, oh, she do this, or her husband do this, or this, or his wife does this, but there's an outline. The Bible, that's our guide. Then you gotta dig deep and go into prayer and ask God, like, well, what do I need in this relationship? What do I need to change? Because what somebody else might need to change as a wife is not what I might need to. How I know somebody who can cook 3 meals a day, who can send their husband out with a bag, and I'm like, how is she doing it? But my husband understands that that's not what goes on here. And the days that I do provide that, great. I'm going to take it. And it's not that he doesn't want it. It's not that I don't desire it. But then some days our lives just, if we really listed our day to day for y'all, some of y'all be like, what do y'all sleep? Because some days it gets, and even though some of our children are older, it still is a lot. These 2 young ones, they got us going here. Going state to state, city to city. They got us going. And so if we don't change to that, we'll wind up being in discord with each other. Because we do so much, we can't always both be at both places at the same place. Sometimes we gotta split. And that's kind of different for us because we're used to being together. Like, we're used to going here together, or I know he's coming to that place. He's not coming at all. Because a lot of times, before, yes, I might be the one going, or I might be the one there because he has so many obligations on the weekend. But I know he's coming. He might be sitting waiting for the train to pass, but I know he's going to get there. Since the train go by, he gonna get there, right? But now it's like he might not come. I might have to go out of town with one of our children, and he's not gonna be there. Which is, I hate that because I don't like to think, guys. Ain't it crazy? I'm a nurse, and I do not like when I'm off work. I do not like to think about what I gotta get off this airplane. Think about this. I just want Marcus to come because he's gonna think about everything. He's gonna know the statistics of the place. He's gonna know all the stuff. He's gonna get a rental car and drive around like he lives there. I need him for that. Instead, when I have to go by myself, I gotta figure out. But the kids know. We're gonna go out to eat with mommy, and I'm giving y'all this plain stuff, and I'm telling y'all this is stuff that to jack you up if you ain't willing to change or willing to communicate it. Because we had to communicate like now. All of us can't go. Somebody gotta be here. Somebody gotta take the other child somewhere. And somebody, you know what I'm saying? My dad's not anymore, but my mother can't help anymore like she. The older children, they do help, but when we out of state, they got work and stuff they need to do, and I need them to go. We need them to go do the jobs that they go to. So the kids know. Janelle know. If me and mommy going out of state for basketball, we getting takeout. We're gonna get fast food. Or we gonna have ground turkey and rice and something that mommy gonna fix, and we got that because that's what we eating right now. Because we trying to keep losing weight and keep eating healthy. Or we gonna gonna find something healthy out, right? She is an athlete, right? I do let her have cookies every now. But we know when we with daddy, we driving down there at what restaurant? You wanna go to Longhorn? Where you wanna go? Right? Because it's free. It's clear. I don't have to worry about all the things. I don't have to worry about getting her on time, getting her there on time, getting her. Y'all, I know I'm talking y'all head off, but I'm trying to tell y'all, if you do not communicate and change some things as your marriage goes along, you will be a total wreck. If you are not able to say, okay, I can do this. I'm an adult. I can go out of town with my child by myself. I can do this. Sure wish you could come. You sure you can't come? You sure you can't make it? You sure you can't come late? But I can do this. Right? So that the child not like, oh, please don't let her see. Please. You don't ever want to do that. Right? So it's a balance. And you have to know what you can handle, what you can do. And you have to know what your spouse can handle and what your spouse can do. You have to know that. And you have to know that sometimes they do have to work overtime. Right? Sometimes they do. Sometimes, like I said earlier, you can't spend that extra $50. You just can't, because it's for a bigger goal. We know that's change and that's struggle and that's a pull and the tug of war when y'all can't buy something. Right? Tug of war when I can't buy something. Real. I think I see it, I should get it. I want to go, I should go. Why shouldn't I? I mean, we don't know how long we're going to be in this world. Then if my children say that to me, I'm like, now does that make sense to you? Does that make sense? That you would spend this last $150 and you don't know when you're going to get it again? Does that make sense to you? But, so there are things that I have to change. So, y'all, I just hope that we have told you something, or we have shared, or somebody on here has shared something. If you got more questions, we both work overtime, right? Because sometimes you have to, sometimes it's mandatory, right? Or sometimes it's just that you know the spending budget of your house. Y'all like, let's get this extra money while we can get it. Because who knows when you won't be able to get it.
Let me add this. In your relationship, you have to be teachable, and you have to be teachable without complaining or questioning the information, right? And what I mean by that is, for instance, we were talking earlier about a whole bunch of different, topics and aspects of things like vision, sex, all kinds of stuff. So in order for our relationship to get better, something about it is going to have to change. Somebody's going to have to present something new, something fresh, something that is going to help us to progress, to move forward, to be better. Oftentimes, when those things happen, we put up a wall and we question, oh, well, why are we doing this? Or where'd you get this from? Or whatever. One, because it's different and it requires change. But two, because most times we only are that way with stuff we don't want to do. We're usually not that way with stuff we want to do. If she saw a dress or something that she liked and, I'm like, no, we shouldn't do it. Then it's going to be like, yeah, but wait, wow, or whatever. You might get something from that. But if I'm like, no, there's a spot that we can go to that you can get 6 dresses for the price of 1. Because you ain't going to argue, but then how'd you find out about that place? And why would you know about a place that could get you 6 dresses instead of 1? Nobody's complaining about what they are benefiting from. People are only complaining about what requires them to do something different. It requires them to do some extra work. So you can't want things to be different, want things to be better, and then you're not teachable. Or if something is coming, information is coming to make you better, to make you wiser, to make you smarter, more knowledgeable, you can't reject it because it's new. We're creatures of habit, so we want to do things the way that we know them to be easy and comfortable for us. But for the greater good of the relationship, for the greater good of this couple, we might have to try this. We might have to do this. We might have to stop this. Like people don't like to have certain conversations because it seems like, oh, I don't want to, especially when you talk about sex. Because in most of the time, men is because we swear we knocking the bottom out, and we swear we doing this and we doing that, and we might not have had the conversation to find out, is that what you like? Is that what you want? Man, that might have been what Keisha like when you was with Keisha, but Keisha ain't had no one, so that's different. Now you with somebody that you love. Now you with somebody that you love, and so you're not here to beat it up. That's not the. You see what I'm saying? Like, so you're here to make love. You're here to enjoy each other at a different level than just getting your rocks off. So what I mean, there are different approaches and things that you have to consider because of who you're with and how this is transpiring. So if you're not teachable, you can't be getting offended because she like, I need you to slow down, or I need you to, or he like, I need you to whatever. And it's like, well, who you been with that you want this now? Or that you no, I've been wanting that. I just didn't know how to say it because I thought that this was going to be the outcome, just like you're doing right now. So we have to be able to have those conversations where we're able to share, hey, I need this, I want this, or hey, I like this, I don't like this. Hey, I need a little more of this, a little less of that. Like in all areas of the relationship, because that's what effective communication looks like.
So if y'all don't have any more questions or comments, we're gonna go ahead and let y'all go to sleep so y'all can have a good week and think about the positive things this week, things that are going good. But have this conversation about what changes that your marriage requires. Even now, at whatever stage you're in, however many years you've been married,
Mhm.
you're engaged, please have this conversation, you know? So we appreciate you. We appreciate that. So have this conversation um so that you can get married right with information, knowing what you're getting into,
Mhm.
right? And if it's not right, listen, y'all don't have to rush. If y'all are engaged, you don't have to rush this, right? Take your time on it because you don't. Marcus always says, I don't think people get married to get divorced,
Right.
right? Like
Everybody looking like,
get married
oh,
in the plan
I think
B.
I see my future
That's right.
ex-wife.
Yeah. So like
What?
just just have these conversations. If you know someone in your family, tell them to tune in because we just want people to thrive. We know marriage can work, but we also know you gotta work, right?
Yep.
You gotta work. You have to work. Just like you go to that job and give that job your all so they can give you a payment. You gotta do the same in your relationship,
Mhm.
right? You gotta give your all. And so I pray that y'all have had a good time with us tonight because we have a good time with y'all every time we get on here. Um, and we will be back next week and we will see y'all then. If y'all have any questions or comments that you couldn't ask on here, you can inbox it and we will answer it later. Um, we won't say it's you or whatever. We understand that. If you have any topics that you would like us to discuss, we will discuss them after we go in prayer to be sure that it's something we can discuss. Right? Like I say, we don't know everything, and we still trust in God for our marriage and for the things that we do talk to you about or bring to you, because we never want to just be on here giving out. Y'all know I go on my rants or whatever, but I come back. Right? But we just never want to be on here just saying whatever, you know. But we do want y'all to trust God in your relationship. We do want y'all to seek God, to read the word, to apply the word. We read it, but we don't apply it. So read it and apply it for your situation, right? And don't read it to make it fit what you want it to fit. Really see it for what it is. Really ask God to show you where you are in, good or bad. Ask God to show you where you are. And you may have some days where you be crying after you read the Bible, or you be crying in prayer or in meditation if you just allow the Holy Ghost to speak to you, um, and to tell you who you are and to show you who you are. So we love you guys. Pray for us, and we will continue to pray for you all. And we will see you next week in the couples corner.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all be easy. Keep hope alive, and continue to enjoy your good old self this week. We'll see you next week in a couple.